Hello friends, today I want to talk about thread locals in C# parallel for loops, and to illustrate that I have put together some small snippet, and let's take a look at it together. Basically I'm creating an array of integers, and it's going to be from 1 through 1 million. So you have an array of integers, so we have something to work with, and the idea is to basically calculate the sum in parallel for the sequence, like going from 1 plus 2 plus 3 so on up to a million. And I just want to make sure that you know that algebraically it is possible to do this sum using this formula, which is n times n plus 1 divided by 2 also. But that would be an easier way to do it, but we want to do it here in a parallel for loop. So to do that, what you can do is you can define a variable which will have the actual end result and is 0. And you can start a parallel for loop, and you can give it this information which is this long it's saying. It is basically saying that in this parallel for, I want to have this variable which is of type long, and it is going to be local to all of the threads that are going to run this parallel for loop. So for example, if parallel for is run by 6 threads, each of these threads will have a variable of type long, and that variable is actually specified here, is called subtotal. So if you look at the syntax for this, is basically parallel for is going from inclusive to exclusive, and then there is a method that will be essentially assigning this value to 0 in each of these threads, and this is the counter that is in given to the each thread whenever they execute something. This is called the parallel loop state, which we are not really using here. I will probably do another video at some time as to what parallel loop state is, but for now you can kind of ignore it. And this is our variable subtotal, which is going to be thread local. So since this is thread local, we don't really need any synchronization or locking or anything. We can just say subtotal is equal to nums plus j, whatever the loop counter was, and it will run this. And at the end of the whenever the thread is done with all its iterations, it will return something called subtotal. And the second parameter that you can give is also a function, and what is basically going to do is the subtotal which each of these threads have calculated is passed on to here. So to show that this is being a separate value that is being computed, I put in a console statement, and then I'm doing the synchronization using the interlocked in C#, and basically this is the reference variable total, which will have the end result, and we'll add subtotals from each of these threads to get the total, and then we print out the total. So if I run this program, what you'll observe is that the total is this much, which is correct. You can actually verify it through the formula. And the other thing you can see is there are quite a few threads being run here, and so you can see there are 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that, some of the threads, and each of these threads have calculated different subtotal values. And the reason is because they are working on different portions of the iteration, so they might have worked on some different iterations and the counters, and that's what they are summing. But the good news is that so basically if you have a thread local, you don't really need to synchronize anything, and you can get that thread local calculated in each of these threads, and in the end you can probably do some interlocking or some other kind of locking to get the total result. So that's one way to do that. Other thing I wanted to show you is that this has another variation that you can use if you wanted to control how many parallel threads are going to run this, and it's called parallel options. And here you can specify max degree of parallelism. Let's say I specify equal to 4, and so now basically I'm specifying this parallel for should only be run through 4 threads. And now what you would notice is, let's say I do the clear screen and do .NET run again, and you can see the subtotals, there are only 4 threads. So thank you for watching this short screencast and what the thread locals are and how you can use them in parallel force in C sharp. And thank you.